Hey everyone, it's James from FunFoods, and today I'm going to show you two different methods of making waffles without using a waffle iron. So keep watching and I'll show you step by step how to make these. The first thing we need to do is make our batter, and to do this I'm going to use the same batter recipe for all the methods that we use to make our waffles. So start out with a large bowl. In this large bowl I'm going to put 2 cups of flour, just all-purpose flour, half a cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and a dash of salt. We're just going to take our dry ingredients and whisk it up. I'm using this whisk, which converts into a whisk. After that's whisked up really good, we're going to just add in our wet ingredients to the dry. I didn't mix our wet ingredients separate. You don't have to do it, but you can. We're going to add 2 large eggs, 1.5 cups of milk, 8 tablespoons of melted butter. That's 1 stick of butter. Just whisk this until it's all well combined. Make sure you break those eggs up. For our next method, we're going to use the silicone mold method. What this is just a silicone mold that's shaped like waffles. And what you got to do is preheat your oven to 320 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm just going to use about 2 of these little spots here. You can do all 4 if you're going to make it this way, but we're going to do 2 of them, and I'm just going to fill it up with our batter. Now I do have it on a cookie sheet just to make it easier for me to pull it out of the oven when it's all done. Again, if you want to get a hold of this silicone mold as well as a frying pan that has those ridges in it, I'm going to put a link in the description below to all the stuff you might need. And just take this, we're going to put this in the oven at 320 degrees for about 9 to 11 minutes. All right, so it's been 15 minutes. I had these in the oven. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look brown enough. We can pop these out and I'll show you what we're talking about here. So I'm just going to try to get these to come out, and they're not coming out good. And so 320 degrees is not working with these. Yeah, so these are a total fail. You can see they're just falling apart. They're not cooked all the way through, but that's why we try things. Since I still have some more batter left, what I'm going to do is come back to our batter, come back to our mold, and I'm going to keep it where the mold should be nice and hot from the oven. And so since the mold is nice and hot, I'm going to try to put our batter in there with it nice and hot. I've turned my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit now, and seeing if that will help. So spread this out. If it doesn't work this time, then that method is not good. So we only have 1 of these left, so hopefully it works. I have the oven at 375 degrees. I'm going to put it in there for, I'm going to check it after 9 minutes, and we'll see how long it takes. All right, so this time I had it in the oven for about 15 minutes. You can see the other side's burned up. That's the side that we scraped off the excess from the ones that didn't work out. So now we're going to pull this out. I can see around the edges it's browned. It looks not done on the top, but I think it is though. We're going to try it, and let's pop this out and see if it looks good. There we go. Not bad. Not bad. So it took some trial and error, but we finally got one. For our next method of making waffles without a waffle iron, what I'm going to do is use this griddle. What this is it's a griddle that has these lines in it, these ridges, and when they get really hot, it's almost like you're grilling on a grill. So we're going to let it get really hot, then we're going to put some butter on it or some cooking spray, and then we're going to add our batter. That's simple. Now, if you don't have one of these, this is actually a griddle, but they do have frying pans that have these ridges in it, so you don't have to make a big investment. And if I find one that I like, I'll put in a link in the description below where you can get a hold of one. Now you want to turn your heat up to medium-high heat, or around 400 degrees Fahrenheit. When it gets nice and hot, we're gonna spray it with some cooking spray. So you really got to make sure it gets hot first. So wait until that cooking spray starts to really bubble up. Then we know we can put our batter on it. Now that your griddle or frying pan, if you're using that, has gotten nice and hot, what we're gonna do is just add our batter right to it. I'm using, again, about a cup of batter. Put it right in the middle. And then you quickly want to turn down your heat a little bit, not much. Now the hard part is knowing when to flip this, and I'm gonna just take the method I use for making pancakes. When it starts to bubble up and the edges look pretty, start to brown, I'm gonna try to flip it now and try to get under it really good. It's hard when you have these griddles, but we'll try to get under it good and give it a nice flip. There you go. Now we'll just cook it the rest of the way then. So after a couple minutes, now we can take this off of our grill. Let's check it out, turn it over and see if it cooked well. Pretty good. And just take this, put this on our plate, and this is one method right here. We're gonna try it out, same time we try out the rest of them. And since we have to have something to compare these recipes to, I'm gonna make one using the traditional waffle iron. And we're doing this with using the same batter and everything. So I've already got it nice and hot. We're gonna spray it with some cooking spray. Add about a cup of our batter. And cook. All right, so it's all done. Let's flip this over. There we go. Put this on a plate. Now that these are all done, let's look at these individually based on the way that we cooked them. And this right here is our traditional waffle made using a waffle iron. And you can tell it's crispy around the outside, it's kind of firm, and it's really nice. And who hasn't had a regular waffle made from waffle iron? So that looks pretty good. Now we're going to compare our other two that we made using different methods to that one. So on this one, this is the one we used using the mold. And you can see it looks like a waffle, and it's real crispy around this part right here. It's pretty crispy, and in the inside it's not as crispy, right? And the only downside of using the mold is if you flip it over on the backside, it looks like it's undercooked, but I don't think it is. We're going to see in a minute when we taste it, but it looks undercooked on the outside, on the downside, where traditional waffle, both sides are cooked exactly the same. Now on our grill waffle, that we made, you can see it kind of is dark on this side and lighter on this side. That's just probably the position I put it on the grill. It has the ridges in it. Of course, it's not going to be that perfect checker pattern ridge. And on the back side, you can see it looks kind of undone around the edges, but that's because you couldn't really push it down after this side has been cooked first. It can't really get down all the way, and I just had to try to push it down with my spatula. So that's the downside of that. But next, what do you say we try these out for the taste test and see how they compare? Well, now it's time for the taste test. We're gonna try each one of these separate and see how it compares to our traditional waffle. So I like butter and syrup on my waffle, so we're gonna just put some butter and syrup on each one of these. And here we go. We're gonna start out with our grill one first. So I'm just gonna cut a little piece of this and take a bite and see how it looks. Tastes just like a waffle, obviously, because we made the batter the same. The ridges, of course, you can tell it doesn't have that checker pattern ridges, but taste-wise, it's there. It tastes just like a waffle. So that, I'll say, is a high 8 out of 10. Now let's try our mold, the one we made with the mold. Has that crispiness on this side, but this side's not so crispy. The inside kind of concerns me a little bit, but let's try this and see how this one tastes. Definitely tastes like a waffle, but again, it has that crispiness only on that one side, that top side that was face down. The other side is not as crispy. It's very spongy, and it doesn't have that. So I would say out of the two methods that we used, the grill worked so much better than the mold. But maybe you can play with it and get the right temperature and the right time, and it might work out great. So here we go, just as a control group here, we're gonna try our regular one made with waffle iron. Yeah, that's the best overall, but I would say an 8 out of 10 for the one on the grill, probably a 5 out of 10 for the one on using the mold, and of course 10 out of 10 for the waffle. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me make these waffles without using a waffle iron. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Also, check out this video right here. I think you may enjoy that. And if you have a suggestion of how to make waffles without a waffle iron, write it in the comments below. And until then, I'll see you next time. Traditional waffle, I can't talk. Today, I'm gonna show you two different, so turn your traditional Eggo, or start over.